Welcome to the ninth grade experience. I'm your host, Chris Dutchko. As a teacher of freshmen and one of our freshman mentor committee faculty advisors, I spend a lot of my school day thinking about and helping students with the successful transition from middle school to the halls of Emmaus High School. The goal of this podcast is to give you the story of the ninth grade here at Emmaus High School through the people who live it daily, the students and staff. We will attempt to touch on the real issues and stories that ninth grade students face, ranging from academics to athletics, technical school, and just trying to find your way as one person in a community of approximately 2,700 students. We will also look to speak with some of the influential staff members who play a key part in a student's ninth grade year. It is the hope that future ninth grade students and their families can use the tips and insights provided here to begin making connections to their potential new school and learn more about the day-to-day lives of the students that they will one day become and realize from day one that ninth grade counts. You can learn more about this episode and all of the episodes of the ninth grade experience by following us on Twitter at EHSFMC or at Chris Stutchko, or following the hashtag EHS9counts, or our website, sites.google.com/eastpennsd.org/ninth grade experience. Before we jump into today's topic, let's thank our sponsor for this show, the East Penn Education Foundation. This podcast has been made possible through a $1,000 grant awarded to teachers like me each year who are attempting to do unique projects in the area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The foundation supports programs that put learning in motion by giving students the tools they need to think actively in a complex and changing world. You can follow them on Facebook at EPSD Education Foundation, on Twitter at EPSD EdFound, or on Instagram at EPSD Ed Foundation. Now on to the show. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Ninth Grade Experience podcast. Last week, you had a chance to listen to the first part of our students, of some of our current ninth grade students, giving you some tips and strategies and reflections on their ninth grade year that just finished out last week. This week, we're going to do part two. We had so many responses. We had 45 total responses. So we wanted to break it up into two smaller bite-sized episodes as opposed to one huge episode. So we have some special guest readers that are going to be joining us again. If you listened last week, you know who they are. We have the same people coming back. This week, they're going to introduce themselves when they speak for the first time. We're going to still go around in that same round-robin format where everyone's going to get a chance to kind of chime in. I'll introduce them a little bit as we go. So we're going to share, again, if you weren't with us last week, I asked students in my class during the last week of school for 3 questions and kind of gave them a chance to respond back, and they all provided some really great answers. So we wanted to break it up so people had a chance to hear. So the questions they responded to were: how would you summarize your freshman year in total? If you were going to give advice to any upcoming ninth grader, what would you tell them? And what did you learn about yourself during this shutdown and how you will apply it to your future schooling? So we want to make sure we're reflecting on what the year was like and what we learned and those kinds of things as well too. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start by reading a pretty long one here, but it was a good one, and I'm going to cut down some of it. But this is from Anthony P. He said, in the beginning of the summer going to ninth grade, he had just lost his dad and was scared of high school. He felt ready. He moved back to Pennsylvania to start a new life and then couldn't start at school. He had to do it online, and he says if he recommends being a social butterfly like Anthony was, don't do that. But towards the middle of the year, he moved to Macungie and realized he was finally going to get a taste of real high school life, the drama, the friendships, and the freedom. But it's not all that it was cracked up to be. Some teachers will help you, and some teachers he thought maybe weren't the best of helpful. He said it's a lot of fake teenagers taking advantage of the freedom and all the different stuff. He remembers his first day, though, at Emmaus High School, and I really liked this part. He said, I remember my first day. All I remember is my chest was pumping with anxiety and me being scared. I stayed to myself, but I also lost my brother in the midst, and I'm saying this out of pity because he wants to, try to figure out what everyone was doing at the time. He said that high school is all about the memories, So he's really trying to create what he can, whether it was good or thinking about the bad stuff that happened too. He said that one thing he would tell new freshmen coming is that you can't let the 8th grade self hold you back. He knows that high school helps you to grow and just knows that it's a precious time that you can take hold of it to have fun and to be yourself. So Anthony wrote there was a lot more that he wrote too, but he really enjoyed the class that we had together. And I really liked his description of that first day, because I'm sure a lot of our upcoming 8th graders will feel that same way too as they come up. They'll think that anxiety, they'll kind of have that chest thumping, and hopefully we're all starting back in the school building in August, but if we're not, it will be different forms of anxiety as well too. So I really appreciated Anthony sharing that one. It was a rather long one, but we wanted to start off with that one. So I'm going to introduce our first reader. So our first reader is my 6-year-old daughter, Joy.
I go to West Goswell Elementary School, and I'm going to go to 2nd grade next year.
All right. So Joy's going to read, and she's going to start off with a little from Bella. Bella D.
Bella D. Well, my freshman year was pretty good, but my advice is to do schoolwork, because if you don't, it brings down your grade. And also, you should study for tests too and pay attention in class. But overall, my freshman year was good. I just wished it lasted longer.
Yep, we have a lot of people that wish the year would have finished off the exact way that it should have finished off. So now we're going to go to our second special guest reader, and it's Grace, my 9-year-old daughter. Go ahead, Grace. What do you want to tell everybody?
I go to West Goswell Elementary School, and I'm going to go to 5th grade next year.
All right, and you're going to tell us a little bit about Jackson.
This year as a freshman was long, weird, and overall an easy workload. If I were to give advice to an upcoming 9th grader, I would tell them to memorize the halls in the school and to know the path from one class to another, and to not expect a brutal amount of work unless you are in math. What I learned about myself during online classes during the shutdown is that anything can happen and could affect me in or out of school. And to apply it to future schooling, I would just keep working as I normally do and ignore the fact that something is going on in the world during that time.
All right, our next special guest reader is my son Cole.
Yeah, I go to Lower McCungie Middle School, and I'm gonna be in 7th grade next year.
And Cole is going to tell you a little about Ishan.
All right, Ishan. He's not sure to summarize his freshman year in total, considering that they were absent for months at a time due to the virus. But if he had to give advice to an upcoming 9th grader, it would be to not let the building fool you as soon as you figure out where your classes are. The rest of the school sort of just comes along. But the one thing he learned about himself is that he needs to be flexible. Because believe me, this was the last thing I was expecting. He knew coronavirus was an issue, but one of the things that he had forgotten was that it was right here in your backyard, possibly literally. So one of the things that he said will make the year great is if you're flexible, because even without the virus being an issue in the next school year, hopefully, there are times where that will be difficult and things will make no sense, so be flexible.
And we have our final special guest reader here.
Stop.
Oh, I thought you were going to give them my age, too. Just kidding.
No, we never give out adult ages on the show.
All right. This is Mrs. Stutchko, because you didn't say that.
No, and last week we learned that she's a Parkland graduate, and we're not holding that against her, but we're going to have her read the next one.
Okay. So Paige says, my freshman year was good. I got to meet a lot of new people and teachers. I was very nervous to begin freshman year in a new and big school, but lots of people helped me and made me comfortable. So there's no need to be scared or nervous. I really enjoyed freshman year, and I can't wait for sophomore year. That's with 3 exclamation marks. So,
Ooh. You know it, and you know it's legit if there are 3 exclamation marks. So our next, Joy's going to read from Jaden L.
Personally, when I came into ninth grade, I loved it. I found it that all my teachers were nice and that the work wasn't as overwhelming as I thought it would be. However, once coronavirus hit, everything changed. It's not that there was too much work in
certain classes,
but more of it was hard to have to teach yourself to the material in certain classes. Alex V. My freshman year was amazing. I had a lot of fun and I got to meet a lot of new people and make good friends. My advice for people coming into the school would be to stay focused on work and be social. I learned that I'm not really good at doing homework during the shutdown, and I should really do more in the future.
All right, Danielle A says, I would love to say that I would say that this year has been a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs. This year, I have learned so much and felt like a whole new person. One thing I would advise incoming freshmen is to study. It is so important that you do your homework. For the incoming freshmen, I want them to know that they are going to make many new friends. Overall, this year was pretty good besides the lockdown. I would definitely wish I got to experience more.
All right, so now we're going to share from Hope C. If I would summarize my freshman year, it was not too bad. If I were to give advice to any upcoming ninth grader, I would tell them to do their best, be respectful, and have fun. I learned that she could be a good team leader.
Jeff F. Freshman year was pretty average. After getting to know the school, it turns into just a normal year of school. I would tell incoming freshmen to not put off studying for
midterms
and finals because they can really mess up your grades.
All right, and Grace is going to tell us a little bit about Zane.
Zane G. I missed my friends and my teachers, and I hope this all ends.
So Zane hopes that we can get back to regular school next year. Go ahead, Cole.
All right, William H. says his best advice that he can give is to not be afraid to ask for help. And a lesson he learned about himself is that reading is a pretty good way to pass time.
All right, Olivia says, my experience in ninth grade wasn't as bad as I thought. In the beginning of the year, it was fun going around the school. The reason why is because you can find new ways to get around the school to get to different classes. Try not to be as nervous as I was, because once you've been in there for the first week of school, you will know where you are going. I thought it would take me a month to find where I was going around the school, but it didn't. During shutdown, I learned that you need to try to block out noises. It can be very difficult to do school at home because there's a lot of distractions. For next school year, I will help ninth graders get around the hall if we make it back to school.
All right, so now Joy is going to share a little bit about what Fabian had going on for him this year.
Fabian R. My freshman year was very hard for me. The school was really big and I was lost, but thanks to the teachers, I was able to find every class, and I'm very grateful for that. And advice will be that they should trust the teachers in every class and ask any questions. I learned that I prefer to do homework in the day. it was given to me, and it applies because every time they give me an assignment, I will try to complete it in the same day. Jace W. This year was a fun experience. This school will feel weird at first, but it will become very easy to make it a part of your everyday life. How I miss regular school more than online learning because I feel like I need more structure in my schedule.
Naya. So Cole's going to read about a little from Naya.
All right, Naya. Their freshman year was the best school year that they've ever had. They would tell incoming freshmen to try your best. What they learn is to keep up with their schoolwork with no reminders, as well as planning when they're going to do their work. This will help a lot when you're in college and in life.
All right, so I'm going to read from Hannah. Hannah says, let's just say this year was a ride of craziness. As a freshman this year, it was a weird experience because of online learning, being in a new school, and seeing many new things. This year during the shutdown, I realized she can be organized and get work done. She's going to apply this to her future and and hopefully in college and a job. Now, for upcoming freshmen to the high school, her advice would be to study. Because in middle school, you never really had to study. You could just wing it and get an A. I'm just going to say high school tests and exams are way different, and they need to be prepared for. So I think a lot of people realize that when they come up, they think it's going to be pretty easy, but they know, after being here for a little bit, they do have to put in some more work. So everyone's going to go on their last read through here of the last couple. So Joy is going to tell us a little bit about Josh.
Josh J. If I was going to give advice to an upcoming 9th grader, I would tell them that they should study for midterms and finals, and I would tell them that after you get used to the school and master where all your classes are, it is not that bad. I learned that about myself during the shutdown, that I was able to do more explaining towards all the assignments in GSI. I will apply this in the future to make sure I explain my answers very well. Jimmy L. That I learned too much this year in your class. Tyler S. This was an awesome year. Besides coronavirus, I learned a lot in school. All the teachers are nice to you, but I think this will help future school days.
All right, and Cole's going to read a little bit from Sheldine.
She would summarize their freshman year as hectic, and she would advise any upcoming 9th graders to stay prepared, and she learned that she works well with any work that she does.
Caitlin W. says, freshman year has taught me to do my work on time. Make sure you are ahead and not behind. It's hard, but you have the skills to finish it off. I feel as though I have matured through freshman year and learned how to better myself. Her advice is make sure you do your work. Just do it. It may feel hard and stuff, but you gotta try your best. Trust me, you'll feel better after getting it all done, and you don't have to worry about anything. She tried her best. She said it worked out, I guess, but I just pushed through and finished it and got it done, and that she also learned she needs to stay off her phone more. She's going to miss everyone, but says have a great summer.
And that's a great way to end it here as we kind of close it down here with our second week of great tips and strategies and all sorts of things that our current and now upcoming 10th graders shared from their school year this year. So thank you very much for listening. We're going to take a couple weeks off here, maybe regroup, and we have some ideas for the summer. And then as the school year starts to get closer, we'll kind of do some more getting ready for school episodes. So thank you very much to everyone that's listened throughout the school year. We really appreciate it. And have a great summer. Have a restful summer.